okay. Yeah, yeah. International Happy Day. Well, yeah, a lot of people, like, they don't like to hear about the truth of suffering, or the about the permanence and all these things. Like, they think it'll make them unhappy. Like, if we I guess it's like, if we don't know about, it's better not to know about it, because it'll make us unhappy. But whether we know about it or not, we still have to experience it. So it's better to kind of be brave and confront it. It's better to be realistic. Like, usually usually people kind of avoid the Four Noble Truths and so on, and but if we're really serious about Buddhism, then it's good for us to know generally the Four Noble Truths, and if we can learn about it by reading this text and some other texts about it, it's really beneficial. Then we're really we're kind of planting the seeds for liberation in our mind. Maybe in this life we can't attain liberation from suffering, but in future lives, and eventually we can attain it. And if we do some study now, even though it's hard, then in the future it will become easier and easier, and then finally we can understand it.
Rinpoche like to use don't like the word suffering, actually. He likes to substitute that to the word struggling.
Yeah.
Because every day we struggles anyway. Regardless, we go to work, we struggle, we wake up, we struggle, we go to sleep, we struggle, everything we do in we struggle. So that itself is more, he says, is more understandable and more acceptable, rather than the word suffering.
I think you have to explain it something like that. If people take it the wrong way. People think that it means, like, you can't have chocolate and you can't love your children, blah blah blah. No, it's not that. It just means that in a sense what we have now is not an ultimate happiness, not a final kind of hope for us. So yeah, if you explain it in that way, it's better. If you just say everything's suffering, then it's then it's kind of misleading. People think, oh, it's really depressing, I'll go home.
Yeah. Well, I think when he used the word struggling, it makes more sense. And when it comes to reflection on our everyday life, it makes more sense. When you say you're suffering because you're going to work, and people will say, oh no, I'm not, and I'm not going through any hardship or anything, and I'm going to suffering suffering. I'm going to work, I like my work, so what are you talking about, kind of thing. But when you change the word to struggling, then of course everybody struggles at work. There's never smooth going. There's always problem to solve. There's things to do and people to deal with. That all are struggling in a way. So accepting that, then you understand that the truth of suffering per se, or the truth of struggling.
Yeah, that's true. There's different levels as well. There's like learning to live our lives kind of in a happy way, in a sensible way, and just having some kind of happiness in this life. And then there's like a kind of deeper level when we're understanding about stopping rebirth altogether, stopping every single kind of unpleasant or dissatisfactory experience. So there's different levels as well, I guess.
But then I guess also we have to mix them together so that we become more realistic rather than...
Yeah, if you... Exactly. You have to look at, where people are and what they want. And a lot of people come to Buddhism, I think, because they have a lot of problems in the way that they live their lives. This is mainly talking about people who are new to Buddhism. Like, it's not usually talking about people whose families are Buddhist and when it's the religion of the mothers and fathers. Usually when when it can often be the case when Westerners come to Buddhism, then it's from not really understanding how to live their lives in terms of their mental attitude. So if you explain it in that way, it's kind of skillful. It's giving a way for them to understand Buddhism without having to think about future lives, or having to think about liberation and so on. So there's this kind of explanation of Buddhism, but the eventually it's good to look at the deeper level if we can really think about, is there a problem with our existence? Like, if we think about it philosophically, is there a predicament? Is there a problem that we find ourselves in, and can we stop it? Are there future lives? Can we attain some kind of liberation? This is kind of the deeper level. If we can eventually get into that's really good. I think that's more like what we see in the great Indian texts and so on. So, any more questions? No? Okay, maybe we stop there then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.